Hello, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Katy here. I am just positively beside myself today, in a good way. If that even makes any sense. I'm doing really good today, having a good mental health day so far. And just got some things fixed around the house. So I'm doing good. So today we're gonna be doing a Metafy session with one of my students, and we're going to be doing some VOD review. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to be looking at Zelda versus Marth. And Zelda versus Marth is a pretty, it's a pretty difficult matchup, I think, for Zelda. Zelda can definitely do it, but Marth has so many moves that are safe on Zelda's shield, particularly 4 out of 5 of his aerials. And so because of that, it makes things very hard for Zelda. You have to be very careful. Because Marth is floaty, we do have some combos on him, and we have more time to set up our traps. And he's light, so he dies early. But you know, him having a disjoints are always a problem for Zelda. So I'm gonna get my student here on the line, and then we are going to get started. I think I'm going to switch the music over to something a little bit more chill. If I can get it to load. For some reason today, like I've been trying to do, trying to remember to keep my posture correct. I've been trying to get this radio pulled up, and I don't know, it's not having it. Okay, well, regardless, probably just turn the music down a little bit. And then let's get Tico in here. Oh, girl, thank you. I appreciate that. I want more stuff for my room, but it's supposed to be like a forest theme. I have a lot of like fake plants and stuff around. The problem with having a room that looks this good, and I don't mean to sound cocky, it's just I put a lot of work into it, is that I hate using it. I hate using it, right? Because like I'm like, I don't want to sleep in here. I sleep on the couch most of the time because I don't want to mess up my bed. Like, I'm like, oh, I have to make it again. But anyway, so let me get Sleepy. Or not Sleepy, girl. We still need to get another session scheduled for you. Okay, I think we've got the lo-fi pulled up now. Please work. Why are you doing this to me? Oh. It says connecting, girl. I'm sorry, are you having trouble? Okay. Pretty sure I can keep this up. And then let me turn the desktop up here. That way you'll be able to hear them talk as well. You obviously got to get a Zelda poster. But I don't. I don't. It wouldn't match. Like I said, forest theme. Forest. I guess I could do something tasteful with like the Master Sword sleeping in the forest. You know what I mean? I could make one myself. I have to get back into art, guys. Drive me nuts. All right, let's give Tico a call. Hello, Tico, how's it going? Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. It honestly might even be best, like if you want to leave it open, that's fine, but it might be best just to close it, because I'll be sharing the screen with you, so you'll be seeing everything in real time anyway. No, I mean, if you want, you can actually just have the chat pulled up itself. Yeah, so I'll give you a link to it. So that's the chat. Now, anyway, let me go ahead and share my screen with you so you can see what I'm seeing here. Okay. So what's nice is I was finally able to get like a secondary monitor. I mean, I've had one, but I didn't know that the monitor that I use to play Smash on also has a display port plug. So, now I'm able to like use both screens and be a little bit more proficient for future sessions. So I'm happy about that. Now let's switch over here. Okay. And I just want to make sure that everybody, that's here, that if for some reason there's some audio issues, you know, if anything's hard to hear, just let me know. Okay, so first of all, just want to make sure you're doing okay today.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Good. Good to hear. I'm doing pretty well so far. I'm having like I said earlier, I'm having a pretty good mental health day, which is always fantastic. And I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I can't really reveal what I'm working on, but it is something that everybody's going to benefit from if you follow me or pay attention to me. Pay attention to me, please, and give me attention. But like if you pay attention to anything that I do Zelda wise, there's something I'm working on that I think like a lot of Zeldas are going to benefit from. And not just Zeldas, but like anyone who wants to learn more about her. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me for that, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. So I'm excited to get started today. It says that you've got an audio echo, so let me see here. Turn this bed. Okay. Okay, so hopefully that works. I have no idea. We'll have to find out. Okay. I think it's just because it's picking you up on my microphone. It's just because like I'm not like a studio professional. Like I don't have all the specifics figured out. Hi Filch, how's it going? So yeah, if for some reason there's more issues, guys, just let me know. I should be able to plug in some headphones possibly into the microphone as a last resort. I might start doing that in the future just for sessions with students, so that way that problem doesn't exist. So okay, so we're just okay, it's not distorting, it's not very bad. Okay, so thank you, Elf, I appreciate it. Oh, Filch, I hope work was good for you. So like I've said before, since we're technically starting now, I'm not going to start the session at 2:30. I'm not going to be like, just sounds like you're talking to a guy in a cement hall. What? Okay, all right, well, whatever. Sorry, but we'll have to deal. So let's do what we did last time. So you got your notes handy? Okay,
yeah,
good. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play. We're going to watch it all the way through, and then we'll go through it again, and I'll start pointing out areas of opportunity, and let's just get started. Mute the audio here real quick. Okay. Okay. Good. I like that. Very nice use of that. That was good. Nice pivot grab. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that looks like it hurt. Oof. Good. I like that you mixed it up that time. Okay, that was good. Okay, he missed the punish there.
I find like this stage, the Pokemon stage,
Mm-hmm.
that has the platform of the edge.
Okay, see, okay, like Kalos in this stage, yeah. I can see that because like you know, depending on the matchup, you know, Zelda really likes platforms, just in general. So if the platforms are, you know, outside, like on this stage, then you don't really have the ability, you know, you don't really have the ability to utilize them in neutral, um, or just in general most of the time because of where they're located. So, you know, like in a matchup like this, you're really it forces like it forces the like everything that's on paper here. So I mean, like Marth clearly has better reach than you. Marth has like really good frame data. Yeah, okay, just on top of it. So it's okay. It's all right. We'll get through this together, girl. We'll get through this together. Okay. Hi, Kioma. How's it going? How's it going? Okay. So we're just gonna start this over and we're just gonna go piece by piece here. So I like the patience. I like the patience at the start because we don't know what's necessarily going to happen. So let's see. So I know that you're this is on Wi-Fi, correct? Okay. So like we gotta I know it's on Wi-Fi and it's a little difficult. You know, but when your shield gets hit, it's better for you to stay in shield, which you were doing most of the time, and kind of see like what's going on. I imagine this was an attempt at like a short hop nair.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I've been trying to remember. Sometimes I just forget.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, it's something that you're gonna have to build for sure. So the phantom charge was good there, but you don't have to necessarily back off so far, because when he's above you, like I know it seems like oh shit, I can get hit, but you want to stay right here. You don't need to back off because you want to keep that stage control, and by backing off, you're giving him the stage. To see if you had stayed right here when he double jumped, you could have like full hopped and tried to up air, or you could have full hopped and then not up aired and fast fell and just see what he would have done in response to that. But because you left, you're not pressuring him. You also know that he's waiting for this to go off before he can land. He doesn't want to get hit by it. So this is sort of giving you control over the situation, but because you put yourself here, you can't really take advantage of it. So I would just write down to try to maintain center. It's one thing I think the last time we worked together, we talked about defaulting back to center, which is great. You know, really want to try to make sure that in everything that you do, you're always keeping in mind, should I go back to center? Should I go back to center? Should I go back to center? Like if you're ledge trapping somebody, they're here on the ledge and you're here. If for some reason you're not confident that you're going to hit them, it's better for you to let them get back on stage and go back to center stage than for you to try to hit them and you miss and they get in the center and now you're in the corner. So same thing applies here. You want to maintain center. So if you have center stage, you don't want to just give it up. See, because he sort of faded back anyway. And if you were right here and you know he's waiting for the phantom to go off, he's responding to your trap, and that's what you want as Zelda. And also we want to make sure that we pay attention to what he did, you know, in that situation. So when you're playing Zelda, what your goal should be when you get your phantom set up here, like right here, because I don't know what the hell he was doing. He was having a party over there in the corner by himself. But if table for one, so if he is you know, like giving you this opportunity, because see, he should have maintained center, and you were able to get center because he didn't follow that rule. So right here, your goal is not to hit them with the phantom. That is not your goal. Your goal is to, okay, I've got my phantom set up, what are they doing in response to it? because what they choose to do in response to it, as long as you're just watching them, what's going to happen is over the course of a couple of minutes or over the course of the set that you play, you're going to be able to see, oh, okay, this particular person likes to do this. Because everybody has different things they like to do in response to the Phantom. Everybody has different habits. Everybody has different defensive habits. So far, the first thing we see Marth do is he likes to jump and double jump over it. But you can't just always think that, okay, the next time I do the Phantom, he's going to jump. Because it could be specific to where he's coming from. He was on the ledge. So, you know, let's kind of let it play out and see what happens here. So, okay, we're in shield. That's okay. We backed off a little bit here. I understand. Sometimes you got to give up space to create space. So we're still in neutral. And you're against a disjointed character, so I would definitely argue that using Phantom in neutral against a disjointed character is a no-no.
Okay.
You don't have enough space, because if you think about it, let me go back here. So if you think about it, because of his reach, you got to look at Marth like a bubble, right? And so like if this is Zelda, then the bubble's probably going to be about like this, because you've got Nair, you've got up air, dare, and then fair and bear. So her bubble is kind of more horizontal ranged. Marth's bubble is like huge because of the sword that he has, because he can fair at you, he can bear at you, he can up air at you, he can dare at you, and he can nair at you. So he's got this giant circle around him. And if you start Phantom right here and he's right here, you are in that bubble range, and so he can hit you for starting the Phantom. So we don't want that. So this right here is where you get tricked, because you think, oh, okay, I've got the space, right? But you have to consider that they can run up and just hit you, and that's exactly what I'm pretty sure happens here. You start the Phantom, and he's like right over here. You just hit the point where you could release Phantom level 4, but you probably wouldn't hit him in time. So he's and you traded with level 3, so that was good. So you at least got the trade. It's better for you to trade than for you to just get hit, so that was fine. But you definitely want to make sure that not only do you have the space, but you need to have the advantage. So you didn't have the advantage here because you were in the corner, and you're behind because he's 20% ahead of you right now. And so because he's so floaty in this matchup, you know, if he jumps, you really have to, you know, ask yourself this question, you know, without the Phantom, Zelda versus Marth, who has to approach who? So like, if I were to ask you, you know, like if you're fighting Zelda as Fox, who has to approach who? Does Zelda have to approach Fox, or does Fox have to approach Zelda? You can go ahead and take a guess.
Or no?
So
I guess.
no. So the faster character is usually the character that is going to be able to get the other character to approach them, because if you think about it, Zelda and Fox is much faster than Zelda, so Fox can just run away from Zelda. So Zelda has to run after him, and that's where Fox sort of can steamroll, because he's like, you know, like, and this is gonna sound stupid, but it's like, nah, you can't hit me. It's kind of like that type of play style. When you're fighting against Marth, technically Zelda still has to approach Marth, because Marth can sit behind his sword. Now, that's why Zelda's fun, because and why she can be so good is because when you have the Phantom built, that whole rule goes out the window. Now it's like they have to approach Zelda, but Zelda's approach is so good with the Phantom behind her, backing her up, that your opponent usually wants to run away, whatever. If they can close the distance before that happens, that's not a threat. Because right here, everything at this point of your charge is only horizontal. Your Phantom kick is horizontal, Phantom punch is horizontal, that swipe's horizontal. So, you know, if he had waited just slightly, because he's so floaty, he could have avoided you altogether. So we just have to keep that in mind, that what I would recommend is, like, at 0, you want to get like forward throw and then charge Phantom, or you want to get like dash attack, and that way you can jump back, charge Phantom, because you want to have some type of advantage frames. When you hit somebody in this game, they're going to be in hit stun for a little bit, so you're going to get to act before they do, even if it's just barely a little. It's much better for you to start the Phantom because they have to react to the Phantom, and if they're in hit stun, their reaction time is limited because they're in hit stun. They cannot act. So just try to be wary of using the Phantom until you've landed a hit on them or you've landed a throw. Because in neutral, remember, we want to main non-committal. And Phantom is a huge commitment, so just keep that in mind. So the down tilt to fair here. So we got on the ledge. We got up from the ledge immediately, so I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to look for that later. We got up from the ledge. We immediately attacked. So the two things that you want to usually do from ledge the most are going to be neutral get up to shield or jump. So when you're on ledge, you can do neutral get up and hold the shield button because you'll buffer shield and you'll only be vulnerable for 1 frame. This move right here, till I'm pretty sure we went over this. It's only active for 2 frames, active on frame 12 and 13. So you're basically vulnerable right before it starts, and then you're vulnerable the entire time afterwards, which may not seem like a long time, but you know, it is a little, you know, it is a little risky. So it's just a good rule of thumb to just try to neutral get up to shield, and then possibly, because like the thing is here is he backed off. So if you did neutral get up to shield here, also I do want to point this out real fast. So again, when you're in neutral, we don't want to use moves that are very committal. When we're in disadvantage, that rule still applies. The rule that you have to have for yourself, I don't know if I've had you write this down yet, but when you're in disadvantage, your rule for yourself, your fundamental rule that you have to follow is, if I'm in disadvantage, I have not earned the right to hit my opponent back yet. That should not be your goal, and that's what you're doing here. Because see, like, you did this, and then you double jump back on, and you start Din's Fire. So it's like,
Yeah,
it's okay.
yeah, catching on.
Yeah, and Din's Fire is good. You know, I'm sure some people will tell you otherwise, but Din's Fire is good, but it's like we have to think about like where we are. Right? So like right now, right, exactly. So this is not the time for you to use any special moves at all, because all of Zelda's special moves are super committal. So that means that they can see them coming from a mile away, and you are, not only can they see them coming from a mile, as soon as you start one, the only exception is teleport, but it's still laggy. If you use Nehru's, Din's Fire, Phantom, all that stuff, you're a sitting duck. So they can see that you started it. They have plenty of time to react because you can't hit them with any of those moves from where you are. And they have an advantage on you positionally and in terms of like frames. Because you're stuck off stage and he got hit by this, but like right here, he can buffer shield, you know, even if you had let go. So don't be trying to hit them back when you're trying to get back on stage, because when you're in disadvantage, what's your goal? Reset back to neutral, exactly. So you need to reset back to neutral. We need to refine that that note. So go back to that note wherever you have it, and just put refine. It says refine or reset to neutral as safely as possible. And the thing is that if you opt to do that, you will find situations later on where you're playing against somebody and you notice their habits, and so you can afford to get back on stage and throw out a move sometimes. And that will work simply because you're not doing it all the time, so they're not expecting it. So then they get a little overconfident and they overextend, and that's when you punish it. That's what your tools are good for. Like Nehru's, for example. Nehru's is a call out. It's not a panic button. Right. So right here, that was a panic. And that's okay. Like I'm telling you, everybody does this, and I'm going to tell you this, and then I'm going to go online and I'm going to play later, and somebody's going to hit me, and the first thing I'm going to do is probably buffer Nehru's immediately. It's a habit we all have. It's a habit that's formed because Fox is comboing us, and we're like, how do I get out of this? I'm going to use the ace in the hole. So I don't blame you for going for it, but we want to shift our thinking over to understanding that it is simply a advantage state tool. And the more that you think, well, you're in disadvantage, I need to get back to neutral as safely as possible, you start considering risk versus reward. So like, let's just look at this real fast. So again, so you get hit off stage here. And so you started. So what's the reward? So like if you land this, what's the reward that you get? Consider where you are, consider the percent. And just say whatever's on your mind. There's no correct answer here, really. I mean, there is, but it's free form. So what do you think?
Like with Dense Fire?
Yeah, so like you starting this Dense Fire, obviously you wanted to hit him with it. So if you did hit him with it, what's the reward that you get?
I guess I was thinking like I approach.
Sure.
Caught him halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you stopped his approach, what would that lead to?
Like hopefully I could be like Nair.
Well, so so not necessarily like combo wise. So like let's think about like stage positioning, percents and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is if the reward, if you hit him, the reward would technically be that you stop his approach and that you get back on stage. And that the next thing you can do is to try to, use the fact that he got hit as a way to get back to neutral, right? That's the potential reward that you're looking for here.
Okay.
What's the risk?
The end lag.
The end lag, getting punished, not hitting them.
Like more stage.
Right, losing more stage. Trading and getting hit, them standing here and absolutely doing nothing, and you just, just wasted time in a sense. So
Right.
we can name way more risks associated with doing this for where you are than we can name potential rewards off of it, especially at the percent. Like, let's say you were at 0 and he was at 100. You even being in this corner, still not something we want to do, but the risk is much lower because you're at 0. He hits you, you can't die. And if you hit him, he would probably go way off stage. So that would definitely get you back into center, back to be able to resetting neutral, and then possibly even putting you in an advantage state because his percent. So because of that, that's where we have to like think about risk versus reward. So right here, that's not the situation. So we just want to make So we just want to make sure that, when we're looking at our videos, when you're on your own and you're looking at videos yourself, when you upload these and you watch them, you need to be like, okay, like I got hit here. And so when you get hit for something, you need to watch what you're doing after you get hit. And then whatever you do, you need to look at you need to say, okay, what's the risk? What's the reward? That is how you're going to like associate, doing certain things out of disadvantage, or really in any situation as a overall good choice or like a poor choice, a choice that could be, better suited but with something else. And see, that's what happens. So risk versus reward, the risk is what played out here. You got hit. And then right here, as soon as you got hit, you use Nehru's. So you're in disadvantage. And it's like, if you had just stayed on the ledge there, after you got hit by Din's Fire, if you had just like fell down and just teleported, you would have had a much better chance to get off the stage. So I don't know if I've had you write this down. I might have, but don't give up free invincibility.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been definitely catching myself more.
Good. But this is case in point. Like right here, if you had just grabbed ledge, then you would have had invincibility on your side. And while you're sitting there, you would also be able to, the Marth can sit here and you can like mix up what you're going to do from the ledge, and you have some invincibility, you know, to help you get back on stage. Whereas then when you're doing anything else, when you're skipping the ledge right there, you double jump skip the ledge, which breaks one of our fundamental rules. Don't skip the ledge, don't give up free invincibility. And then now we're in disadvantage, and you know, we're being committal and disadvantage. And then we're being committal and disadvantage again. So the good thing about all of this is, since you see that you're breaking these rules, it's going to be a lot, even though it's going to take time to instill that, it's a great thing, because we at least can see what we need to change. And so it's not going to be as difficult as it might seem. And I don't think that you are, but I just want to preface, and I just want to say, you know, like, again, this is a good thing. This is a great thing for us to be able to see all of this. This is what this is for. So when I point out these things, I don't want to make you feel like any other thing other than confident, because, you know, I'm just speaking from personal experience. When people would watch my videos and they would be like, why'd you do that? And I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know why. I just thought it might work. And then they're like, well, you shouldn't have done that because this, and this, and this. Personally, I got really down on myself, which I think can be easy for us to do. And I'm not saying you're doing that, but I just want to make sure that you, or anybody that's watching, understand that confidence comes from knowledge. And so that's what we're acquiring here right now. We're acquiring knowledge, which will lead to the confidence. Go ahead.
With me, I don't think it's true.
Yeah.
So I feel like better.
100%. You're
knowing like what's the better option.
Yep, you are 100% on the money. Right.
Like I'm still like one of them like throwing out very good hit.
Right. Yeah. And it's just something that, you know, like, again, when you play Smash with your friends and you've grown up playing the game for a while, and you know, you really haven't taken it to that competitive sense, you know, then it's just like an experience. It's a journey for everybody. So I'm glad that you're focused on the end goal. You know, there's a good quote that I actually read the other day, and I really loved the quote. It's simply, how does it go? It's don't focus on the harvest that you reap each day. So like when you're you know, doing, like, when you're basically like, it's just an analogy of like saying, you know, hey, like, you may not see what seeds you're planting, you know, so don't focus on the harvest that you reap, focus on the seeds that you're planting. So, and that's exactly what we're doing right here. So I'm glad that we're on the same page. I want to preface for anybody that's watching, and because I'm projecting a little bit, you know, like I would do VOD review and I would get very down on myself. So I naturally want to make sure that that doesn't happen for anybody that's watching, or any students that I have or anything. So we're on the ledge. Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm thinking more about like the matchups lately. Dude, like this thing.
Yes.
Like Martha has a really long sword.
Right.
So you just have to go different.
It is, and the other thing is it is the hardest matchup archetype for Zelda to deal with. It is the direct counter to Zelda. I would argue that swords are harder for her than rushdown characters. I would argue that any day, because, you know, rushdown characters, she can still get hits on if she calls out where they're going to be, like Fox, Captain Falcon, etc. But if you're fighting somebody like Marth, Lucina, Sephiroth, they all outrange you, so they don't have to be faster than you. They can just literally poke at you constantly, and so there's a lot of tactics that we have to use. So I'll just say this right now. You could put this off to the side in your notes, but crouching is actually very effective against Marth and Lucina, because something they like to do a lot is they do Rising Nair. And what's really nice is if they do a rising nair, the first hit of their nair will not hit you. And so because of that, you can crouch and crouch underneath it, and then you can actually start an up tilt. And what's crazy is you will crouch the first hit, and you can actually hit them with up tilt before the second hit comes out. It's a very, very weird thing to do, but it's very, very effective. Now, if they're starting to short hop and they like fast fall with their nair, you know, that's when you're going to have to either shield it or you're going to have to parry it. But parry can become easier with practice, especially if you know like how they're using their nair. So the fair is at their percent is just not guaranteed. So when you did down, yeah, when you did down tilt here, so this was a good punish. Drop shield down tilt, that was fine. You could go into dash attack here. But something else we could do, it's not necessarily going to be true, but on floaty characters, you might have a better shot. Another thing is that dash attack will get you moved. And if they, let's see what he does out of disadvantage, right? Because he just got hit. So like, let's see what he does. He rolled. So if you keep that in mind next time, when you down tilt, he's going to roll. You know what you can start to do? If you pay attention to what your opponent is doing, this is where like the game gets really fun. Because as soon as you hit this down tilt here, if it was me, I would dash grab. Because if you started dashing, if you start dashing right here, he starts his roll and you're dashing, and then now you can just hit grab during his end lag on his roll, and then you've grabbed him, and then now you can throw him back off stage. So yeah, I mean, well, thank you, but it's you know, it's something that's only going to happen if you're focused on what they're doing. But it's hard to do that when you're playing, especially on Wi-Fi, and you're also like newer to competitive, because you're trying to focus on like, okay, like I got my down tilt, it's time to fair, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like probably in the
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally. Totally. And I think a lot. I think a lot. It's hard to look at percent exactly. It's definitely, it's more of a thing that you have to like sort of like pay attention to before the situation, and then the situation plays out, and then it's like you sort of have that foreknowledge. Okay, they're at 60%. I down tilted, so I know I can get fair. The other thing here is that, and this is the last time I'll point this out before we go on, because I want to try to get through the rest of it, but right here, when you get this, it's really good just to dash up and hold shield anyway, because if you, the thing is that like if they were at like, let's say they were at 70% and you did down tilt, right? And it pops them up. Well, you're probably not going to get fair, right? Like the combo range is like 50 to 70% for depending on like on most characters in the game. But against a floaty character, if you down tilt, you're probably not going to get it, especially if they DI out. So what can be good is if you hit down tilt and then you just dash underneath them and hold shield. Because the thing is that now they're above you and they have to land. So it's like your goal is for them to hit your shield. Against a sortie, it's going to be a lot more difficult, because I'm sure you can see this too. I went ahead and pulled this up. So this is, yeah, so nair, up air, fair, bear, those are all unpunishable. Yeah, boom, there you go. It's because they can poke at your shield, yeah, and you can't reach.
Far away.
Well, this is what, yeah, this is kind of what they're getting at, is that like if they're perfectly timing it, they can hit you. But yeah, you're right. They could hit you with a bear that's unsafe, but because you're far away from them, you can't hit them. You can't punish them for it. So this is just like scratching the surface. So let's go ahead and move forward. See, but because you did that fair, that wasn't guaranteed at that percent, you got hit. So that's just like a combo thing. Knowing when your moves are going to combo or not. All right, so can you tell me what you're doing here after you? Well, it's not for no reason. You
I thought like
right. Yeah, you thought I would get them. Yeah. Well, yeah, I love your enthusiasm. Yeah, no, sometimes it'll work. It could be, could be a couple of different reasons, but it just in this case, it's something that you're doing, you're in disadvantage, and your rule is, what's that rule that we have for ourselves when we're in disadvantage?
Reset neutral.
Reset neutral. What's the other rule while you're in disadvantage? Keep yourself available. So I don't know if you wrote this down, but it does tie in with that rule. That, if when I'm in disadvantage, I have not earned the right to hit my opponent back yet. And I know that sounds cheesy,
Right.
but if you think that, then you'll remember it. I promise you. So if you have not written that down, please write that down. When I'm in disadvantage, I have not earned the right to hit my opponent back yet. That is something that you will think is cheesy possibly, or other people might, but then when you're in disadvantage and you've been hit 400 times and you're in disadvantage again, it's eventually going to click and you're going to be like, okay, all right, how do I get back on stage safely? And you're going to start paying attention to things that you're normally not paying attention to. And then it's just going to be that way from now on. It's that, to me, it's that simple. It just requires you to constantly think that way.
Especially for Zelda, because
Correct. 100%. So what if that Marth didn't jump and pursue you, but you dared? What if you were a little bit lower and you have that habit of daring, and they're in shield? You hit their shield, they get a stronger punish than they did if you did it in the air possibly, and he hit you with the up air for it. But like when you get to higher levels of competitive, people will hit you up. They will jump. And they will try to bait you to do something just by them jumping at you. And then they fast fall, and they don't even hit you when they're in the air. They will fast fall and they'll hold shield, and you threw out an attack, and now you're in for it. So you can't break that rule. So right there, we throw out a nair. I understand, like that one I don't have too much complaints with, just because it's as simple as this, but you didn't get punished for it. So I can't if you don't get punished for something, I cannot hold it against you because it worked. And this game is so situational that it's going to depend. And that might be one of those times where you're in disadvantage and you decide to throw something out. You don't always have to. It's totally up to you. But if the more that you're not doing it, the more of a surprise it's going to be when you do end up doing it. Love that you got out of that situation there. That was very good. Good early release on the Din's Fire. Excellent pivot grab. Like all of what you're doing right here is fantastic. You assess the situation after they hit your shield. You were like, okay, am I safe? Can I do this? So you did. You teleported out of the situation, and then you're able to get your Din's Fire going. And then that pivot grab was beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely loved it. So right here, I know you could have gotten this kick, but something that you could have done is you can just wait, and let's see what Marth does. Don't look at you. Let's see what Marth does. I know it was hard to see, but Marth started his air dodge. So if you had just waited and not done anything, you could have potentially up tilted him. And that's what I'm talking about. When people are up in the air, they're scared that you're going to hit them. So like sometimes they'll air dodge. And this is like a bad habit that a lot of newer players have. But unless you're going to die, if you get hit, there's really no reason to air dodge, right? We just air dodge, and it's like a skill thing. It's like what am I trying to say here? It's more of like a yeah, sort of. It's just like if you're like a level 1 player, right? Like you just sort of started out, you sort of a little unfamiliar to competitive. When you're playing against somebody and you get thrown or you get attacked and you're in disadvantage, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to air dodge, because if I hit you up in the air and I try to jump and hit you and you have enough time to dodge it, then my attack misses, right? And then you're safe. So like on the surface, that seems like what you're supposed to do, but once you get to higher level, people will literally hit you up in the air and they will jump at you, or they won't do anything because they're waiting to see what you do when you're in disadvantage. And usually, and Goblin told me this, he's a really good Roy player. He said, when you put somebody into disadvantage for the first time, or a tech situation for the first time, the option that they choose to do that time is the option they will most likely default to the majority of the time that you're playing against them, because it's it was their first choice. So it's like when they have their cards in their hand, right? And you know, you put them in a situation where they're pressured, they're like, boom, I'm playing this card. I'm playing the air dodge card. So now you have a good idea in this match already, or you should, that, okay, this person likes to air dodge, you know? So I'm going to keep that in mind. So the next time you down throw them, you definitely know, okay, I'm going to down throw you and you're going to air dodge. And if you wait and they air dodge, you can get that big punish. You can up tilt, and then you can get like a bigger, stronger confirm. You could get up tilt to nair or something instead of just the nair. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. And then, like, let's say you're playing against a smarter player and you down throw them and they jump instead of air dodge. Now you know, okay, you did air dodge first, now you jumped. So now I know you're mixing up your options. So even if you waited and they jumped and all you did was wait and up tilt and they're still in the air because they jumped, you're still fine. They're above you and you can still catch their landing. So we'll get more into like the finer nuances of like how we should be playing in advantage, disadvantage, all of that stuff in future sessions. But it's definitely something I want you to keep in mind is like, you know, what is my opponent doing? And just as much as I'm paying attention to like, okay, I can't hit back in disadvantage. What is my opponent doing when they're in disadvantage? What do they do when they're in the corner? You know, what do they do?
Yeah.
It's a lot to keep track of, but I promise you the more that you do it, it eventually becomes second nature. Okay, so the bear. Right here we get hit. We dodge this. And then you shield. So right here, since you shielded this, you're in a good position, but you don't want to try to kick him for this. You technically can, but you're not in a good position to do so, because as you can see, when he, yeah, right, exactly.
Usually, like, I'm like compare them because they're closer usually.
Yeah. Well, it can work. It's just that, so I don't know if we went over this, but I might have went over it like just with a different student. I don't remember, but there's something called shield DI. And so if you're holding your shield and you hold the B button while you're shielding, if you move your shield around, you won't roll at all because you're holding shield and you're holding special. So that locks you in your shield. That way you can tilt and aim your, that way you can tilt and aim your shield. So if you're doing...
Shield.
Mm-hmm. So it's just shield DI, is what you're doing specifically. So just holding shield plus the B button, or you can hold both shield buttons if you have 2 shield buttons set. I don't think you need 2 shield buttons because you have the B button. So I have a shield button. Right, so you hold shield, hold the B button, and that lets you tilt and angle your shield. When you release the B button, then you can like roll, spot dodge, jump, like all of those things. So so the reason that this is good is because when you get hit, and this is a little bit more advanced, but when you get hit by a move, you can actually control where your character ends up moving during the shield stun. So I can pull this up real fast and show you. It loads here. Okay. Secret input, oh brother. Okay, so let's see if I can get this moving. Try to skip forward a little bit here. So yeah, if you hold L plus the B button or shield plus B, it lets you stay in shield and you can move your shield around and tilt it and whatnot, and you know, angle it. And when you start getting hit by multi-hit moves, trying to get this set up here. I'm not sure what they're doing, but okay, so here's what I'm talking about. You can see how close Kirby ends up when Pit shields an attack. So like this puts you in potential situations. I think that actually the Ganondorf example is better. Let me try to go back here and show you. Okay. This is a much better example. See that?
Yeah.
See, so what that does is if you're shielding an attack and then you're tapping left or tapping right, it's going to affect where you're going to end up once the attack finishes. So because of that, in this situation, if we go back here, technically you could have shielded that and you could have like DI'd towards them a little bit. So that way it puts you in place to get the kick. However, risk versus reward. You're at 98%, they're at 50. If you get the kick on them, they're not going to die. If you miss that kick, you will probably die. So it still doesn't matter because the risk outweighs the reward. So because of that, what we should have done is we should have just, like, after we shielded the F smash, we should have just jumped out of shield is what I would have done, and then I would have turned around the Phantom. So right here, we shield this. Just jump away and start Phantom and turn it around facing them. I'm not sure if you're familiar with how to do that, but you can jump away from somebody and then you can hit down and back. So just down back and then the B button and your character will turn around facing this way and charge the Phantom. So even though okay, so if you're familiar with that, okay, I just want to make sure. So, and then that's what happened. We ended up dying because we threw out that kick and we missed. Kioma, it can be different for everybody else. You know, some people can look at percent and it determines how they play every moment. And some people look at percent and it's like only, you know, particular to them for like whatever the situation calls for. Okay, so we're still doing that. So we're still getting hit here. If we threw this out. Now see what your opponent do. They air dodged. Now their air dodge is safe basically for 30 frames. Well, 28 frames technically, for 3 to 30 for most characters. So what you could have done here is very simple. Once you get this up tilt, can you tell me what you could have done instead of the jump nair?
Like, you gain additional advantage?
So you can, but we already know based on the match, we already know that, and see, this is where it gets confusing because yes, you could take center here, you could, and it's not that that would be a bad idea at all, but we have a little bit more foreknowledge here because we know what from that down throw earlier. Remember, you down threw them. What did they do as soon as they were in hit stun?
The air dodge.
The air dodge. What do they do as soon as they're in hit stun here? They air dodge. So when you up tilted, you literally could have just done nothing. You could have up tilted and just sat there. And then they air dodge and then you up tilt again. And up tilt is active for 13 frames. So it has a much higher chance to just catch them, right? Instead of you trying to like hit them with a bear or you know, jump in the air and try to hit them because you could be off. So up tilt, catching landings and focusing on like at low percent, like up tilt, see what they do. If you up tilt and they jump, you have more information than you did before. Now I know when I put my opponent in disadvantage, they like to jump, but this person likes to air dodge. So I'm going to up tilt them, I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to up tilt again. That's okay. Right here, just up tilt. Now you get hit. You're at 17%. I know it sucks, but there's no reason to air dodge like this. This was a directional air dodge. So this will be difficult but like to learn, but once you get it down, it's very useful. It's fast fall air dodge, but you're in tumble, so you can't fast fall or anything yet. So this is the situation. This is a situation where it's like you have to sort of pick your battles, and sometimes, especially as Zelda in a matchup like this, I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but it might be better for you to just take the hit. Now, you could have just done neutral air dodge. So neutral air dodge only has 10 frames of lag. So I would have been fine with a neutral air dodge here. But, you know, there's really no reason to do it. And this is where it gets a little complicated. So because your opponent is hitting you up and they're trying to immediately hit you, the air dodge will work here. But if your opponent did up tilt, and then just dashed underneath you and waited for the air dodge, then the air dodge would be punishable. So it's like a 50-50. But your opponent seems to be pretty close to, you know, your skill level. So it seems like that they're sort of doing the same type of level 1 stuff as well. Okay, great. Love that we're getting those. So we know now that if Marth does anything to our shield that is on the ground, you can up B punish it as long as it's not spaced. If he's up close to you, you can shield and you can up B, and that's what you're doing, and it's good. Right here, you see how he countered and you dashed back?
Yeah.
Press down B again. Because now, this is an opportunity to where you can hit him for it, because you know that he's vulnerable right now. So you could have hit down B and released it, but because you didn't, he was able to shield right beforehand. But you still got the grab, so that was good. That was really good. Okay. So let's talk about this real fast. We got the grab, we throw them off stage. Start the Phantom right now. You're starting Din's Fire, and like I understand why that might be, but it's not an effective trap right here. Usually Din's Fire is good when you hit somebody up and out, because they have to fall. And so this, you can put Din's Fire right here, and if they try to fall towards the ledge, they have to air dodge this. And then that lets you have more time to set up your Phantom. But now he's on the ledge, and he's already grabbed the ledge. So rule of thumb, and I'd write this down, if your opponent already grabbed the ledge, there's no reason to charge Phantom, because they're going to be able to get past it. They're going to be able to react, and they have invincibility when they're on the ledge. So if they roll, they've got some invincibility. If they jump, they've got some invincibility. If they do neutral get up to shield, there's only one frame you can hit them. So because of those options that we have in front of us, it's just not going to be as effective. Okay, and we don't want to put ourselves in the corner here. So we're here. We shield. So jump back, charge Phantom. If you can. You can also just like jump back, bide your time, and wait. But right here, he's hitting your shield a lot. So to me, it seems like you could jump back, charge Phantom. And when I say jump back, charge Phantom, I don't necessarily mean fully charge it. Like you could just jump back and just throw the kick. And that alone could cause them, could cause them to be like, oh, I'm going to hit you. But because you did the kick, you actually can act a lot sooner. I'm not sure if we went over this. And I think I have, I'm going to send you something, but there's like a little table that I have that shows all the Phantom charges, what frame you have to press the B button for that specific level of charge to come out. And then it'll also tell you how many frames you're vulnerable for, like how many frames you're committed to. And so like, I don't know if I pointed this out, but when Zelda releases the Phantom, she's in a 39 frame animation where she's pointing, like, you know, sending the Phantom out. She points her finger. So when you did level 4 Phantom here, when you send them off stage and you do this, it might have actually been better for you to just finish the Phantom, because you possibly could have shielded.
Right.
But because you released it, now you're stuck pointing your finger. And so you have to sit there and take the hit. So don't be afraid to like throw out the up tilt. So the up tilt is like one of those moves I said that we can use. You know, so like right here, if you had started up tilt sooner, because his move starts up here and hits forward,
Right.
and your up tilt starts here and goes upward. You might have hit him here before he was able to hit you like that. So I want you to experiment more with using up tilt, like more than any other move. Up tilt is definitely one of the, like, it's a top 5 up tilt in the game. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me. Now that was good, and that's technically how you're supposed to use the Phantom. So what happened here is you set up the Phantom. Now technically they were on the ledge, but you have some space, and they were going to try to hit you, but they're like, oh fuck, she just finished it. So then they were probably scared that you were going to jump and try to hit them, right? And so you didn't do that. So now they're in a position where they're like, okay, well, I don't want to get hit by the Phantom. So what do? They drift back because they were scared that you were probably going to try to up air or something like that. So you throw out this up smash, and it's basically, it's saying you can't go here, right? You cannot go here right now, because if you do, you will die. So you're going to have to think of something else. And so that's why they got, yes, and that's why they got scared and they drifted back. And that's why that worked. That's how Zelda definitely works. She is option coverage, and she does traps. So you set one trap and you're like, you can't go here. And then they jump over you and you shield, and you can jump out of shield at any time. So they're like, oh shit, like she's probably going to hit me. So now you did this, and so he knows that he can't drift in on you, and then he gets hit by the Phantom. So that's definitely like how you're supposed to be playing. And the more that you pay attention to like how they operate when they're in disadvantage, the greater strengths that you will have in like getting those traps set up, because you know how they're responding to your traps. Okay, don't corner yourself. So you did Nehru's and they're at 9%, and then you went for a grab. So I understand that you want to try to grab them, and usually if they're in the corner, you can get grabs, but they're not at high percent. They have no reason to be scared of you right now. So even if you did grab them, you're not going to kill them off of it, most likely. So they're not really afraid to get grabbed. So if they're not afraid to be grabbed, you probably don't want to go for a grab. Plus, risk versus reward. Grab is super committal. It's very laggy. You only have 2 frames to possibly get the grab out of 60, because it's only active for like frames 12 and 13. Or I think it's, yeah, frames 12 and 13. And then, you know, like I said, if you miss, you die. So he didn't end up punishing you for it, because, you know, what did he do? Let's see what he did. So he should have just F smashed you, but that's why he got that. So now he's in the corner, and he's like, I don't want to be in the corner. So do you see what he did? He jumped back and went back to center. He's focused on his positioning here. He's like, okay, I'm going to get out of this situation. So when you were here, you could have jumped back and started a Phantom, right? Instead, you went to the corner, and we don't want to give up stage. So we got to maintain center, and that's not what you did here. And see, now you're in the corner. So it's like now you're shielding. You're like, oh, fuck, I'm in the corner. I'm on my last stock. Or I don't think this is your last stock, but I'm close to it, you know, and so now it's like, fuck, how do I get out of the corner? That whole situation that lasted about 5-10 seconds, that whole situation only happened because after that Nehru's, you went for that dash grab. Do you see that?
Right. Yeah. A lot.
Yeah. Right. And it's like, it's just something that we don't necessarily think about until somebody else points it out to us. So, you know, sometimes it's going to be the best decision to go, okay, so the queen, yes, this is what I want. This is what we need. This is what we need. So right here, the dash grab, I'm going to ignore that because we just talked about it. It's super committal, and like there's really like when the Phantom's there, and like if they freeze and shield, sure, if you're close enough, go for dash grab. But like for the most part, like grab in this matchup is just going to be really, really hard to get unless you're catching a landing with a pivot grab. So if you're standing here and they jump and they come down on you and you dash back and they land and you did a turnaround pivot grab, because your grab range is so big, you can probably catch them. But other than that, getting grabs, it's going to be pretty hard to get. So right here, I don't know why they did that. They could have just grabbed you. So this right here, all of that was great. This is where Zelda shines. Do you see what's going on here? Like, let's try to look at this a little in depth here. So right here, you're in shield. He could have just grabbed you, whatever. You threw out down tilt, and he rolled. Now he's like, okay, now it's my turn. I can hit you. You did down tilt twice. And because down tilt is such a good move, you're able to act out of it. So this is what you want. You make yourself look vulnerable by using these moves that are non-committal, that don't last very long, like down tilt, like up tilt, like short hop nair. You did down tilt, and because you can act, he thought you were punishable, but you dashed, and Zelda has a great dash. So her up tilt and down tilt mixed with her dash makes how you really play her. I know it sounds very simple, but it's because it's the truth that it is. This is how you play her. You down tilted, and then you dashed away, and he tried to hit you, and he wasn't able to. So you threw out up tilt, right? Now here's the beauty of it. You didn't hit the up tilt, but it doesn't matter because you're able to act again. He thought you were punishable again, so he went in, tried to hit you, and you did dash back F smash. That is what you need to be doing in neutral at all times. You throw out down tilt, you dash away. You throw out up tilt, you throw out up tilt again, you dash away. You just mix in your down tilt and your up tilt and then your dashes. And then you can, that's how you do it. You bait people into trying to think you're punishable. We're going to watch that one more time. Watch what you do after this grab. That was beautiful. That is perfect. That is exactly what you need to be doing. Because as you know, you were in neutral and you threw out that up tilt and then you dashed. And now it's like you're not in neutral anymore. You're actionable and he's jumping at you. So you're technically in an advantage, like in an advantage state. It may not seem like it, but you are. Because you're baiting him to try to hit you. That's what Zelda does. As a trap character, you bait people. You're like, hey, look at me, I'm over here. You can come hit me, and then like they try to, and they screw up and they miss because your dash gets you out of range. And even though he's ranged, right, that's why like you won't beat him if you both like jump at each other in the air and you both throw out an attack. He's gonna win. So you have to be more clever than that. So you have to dash around, make him try to think you're vulnerable, and then you can punish him accordingly. Because, you know, what could you have done instead in these situations, right? And I'm not saying like, I'm saying in terms of like a bad thing. You could have like went for a dash grab after this. You could have tried to jump and kick him and you would have gotten hit. That's what he was expecting. He was expecting you to try to like continue to fight him from where you were. And that's why he thought that would work. So now you're doing this up tilt and you could have like tried to jump and hit him and then he could have hit you back. But it's because you are continuously moving. You're baiting with the dash, you're doing something after. You did down tilt, dash, up tilt, dash, F smash. And the F smash is what you ended up getting. So it didn't matter that you missed the down tilts and it didn't matter that you missed the up tilts. It's fine. You're baiting him to try to do something called whiff punishing. When you whiff a move, that means that you missed it. So Zelda having these non-committal moves, you can throw these moves out and whiff them intentionally to get them to try to whiff punish you, and then you punish them trying to whiff punish you. And then now you have your situation. You got the S smash, jumpstart Phantom. Now he's on the ledge. What's he been doing every time he goes to the ledge and there's a Phantom? He jumps. Right, so all you do is go right back to center stage, you wait right here, and you throw it up tilt. You almost got it, you almost got it. So this was correct. This is what you should have done. This is what you should have done. That is very close. That's what you should have done. All right, that's hard to react to on Wi-Fi. Didn't necessarily know it was coming. Okay, we got an F smash here. Good. Now you at least punished him for trying to jump out of the corner, so that was good. That was an accident. That's totally fine. You still almost covered it. Just up tilt him. Just up tilt him here. So right here, your up smash is frame 9. Your up tilt's frame 7. So your up tilt would have been out, and your up tilt actually hits further up and around you and covers more of your body than up smash does. And up smash is more of a commitment. It's 63 total frames. Up tilt is only 29 total frames. Your up tilt's also active for 13 frames. So this is what I'm saying. Like, in these situations, it's better for you to just get the hit than to get the kill. Let the kill happen on its own. Write that down. Let it happen on its own. Let the kill just come, right? Like, don't force it.
Yeah.
That's what you tried to do here. You tried to force it because you're like, oh, okay, I can kill him. And that is not the way you want to think. I can shank him. Like, that's not how you want to think. Right, exactly. So like up smash, it's a fantastic move, but it's just very risky. And so like what happened here is you traded, and because he's mashing, he got another hit on you. Now that's a kill confirm. You probably don't know this yet. Well, you might, because I think you were watching the other night. But when you land first hit in air like that.
No, I
well, hold on. Have you gone into training mode and practiced this combo? No, you probably haven't. So you got to give yourself credit here. I know you say, I would get rid of like the should-haves, right? Like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. What you can say is, I can do this. I can do that. Saying I should have is like, it has like a shameful connotation, even if we don't see it. And I personally believe in vernacular, the power of the tongue, all that type of stuff. I'm not religious, but like I still believe that particular type of principle. So we don't want to say things like I should have done that. I think that we can say something like, you know, next time I can do this. Hi Star Firestorm, how's it going? Thanks for the follow. So let's continue.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I never expected.
That's the problem. That's
in the moment I was like, oh, like
right, sure, but why is that? Well, there's that, but there's an answer I'm looking for here. So you said that when you did the nair, you didn't expect it to pop up. That's because when you did the nair, you weren't thinking about really trying to specifically hit them with the first hit of nair. You were just trying to hit them. Right? So that's sort of that whole, like, you know, everything we do has to be done with purpose. And, you know, the purpose can be refined here. So right here, we get hit and we're like, oh, I just want to hit them. You could have fared here, technically. Now, I don't know if you would have necessarily gotten it. Well, you probably would have. You could have fared there, because fair is going to be the same frame that comes out. But you have that, you know, habit of like throwing nair out. You can even get nair 1 into dash up smash, and personally I think that that's a little bit easier. That's a combo I can try to lab for Zelda, but it's a higher commitment, but it's easier to get because you have all those multi-hits working in your favor. But anyway, so right here, like, you have stage. You don't have to approach him. Dash attack is so unsafe on shield. It's so unsafe. It's not worth it. It would just be better for you to just, like, you know, jump back, charge Phantom, or just wait and see what he does. He's in the corner. He's pressured. I do like your patience and shield. Okay, we got the grab. Okay, so this was a perfect setup for Phantom, but we got to watch what we do. So when you charge this Phantom, just stay here. Just stay here. Now, sometimes you can go up, but the two things I want you to mix between are staying right here, because let's watch Marth. Don't watch you. Marth does roll, so if you'd stayed right there, you could have hit him for it. Right? Like you did, he only rolled because the Phantom went off.
Right.
Now, if he waited and he did like get up attack and you were waiting right here, he's still in the corner. So even if you didn't hit him, he's still in the corner. So waiting here just to see what they do is fine. And he was jumping out of the corner a lot. So if he did jump, you could just react as he's in the air and just be like, okay, my reaction to him jumping is just going back to center. I don't have to hit him. I just got to go back to center. You can punt
because I have the advantage.
Exactly. And the other thing is that, you know, his risk reward right now, he cannot take as many risks as you can. Technically, he has another stock, but if we're just looking at percents, he can't take as many risks as you.
Right.
The other thing is you could always walk up a little bit, and then you can hold shield right here. And if they try to get up attack you, then you can grab them. And that's where you get your grab. That's another way you get it. A very common tactic people will use is when you get up attack, you're invincible for like at least 20 to 30 frames at the start of your get up attack. So people will get up attack in time with the Phantom. The reason is because they dodge the Phantom, it doesn't hit them, and they hit the Phantom. When they hit the Phantom with their get up attack, it extends the hitbox of their get up attack. So that means it's more likely to hit you. So if you mix between 50% of the time, I'm going to stand right here with my Phantom and just wait for you to try to come towards me. And if for some reason they get up and your Phantom's gone and you don't have anything, but they're staying here in the corner because they're scared, just go back to center. You can let them get back on stage, but you're still in a better position than they are. So you don't have to risk getting hit and letting them get stage over you. The other thing is like you dashed forward here, and I think you did down tilt. So afterwards, you could dash back. So dash forward, down tilt, dash back, up tilt. That's something I do a lot. I'll dash up to down tilt before the Phantom goes off, and that usually will bait them to like get up or something, but then the Phantom goes off. So they have to jump, they have to roll, whatever. But because I did dash up, down tilt, they did something, Phantom goes off. Now I dash back while Phantom is covering me. I can potentially cover them with up tilt or something like that. So I'll show you an example of that another time. Okay, very risky trying to get out of disadvantage like that. All right, and then you're panicking. So you missed an attack. And this is like, oh shit, like, you know, like if I could die. So this is where all these panic options are coming out. So we threw out the bear and they did this. So that was a free dash attack, but it's like, oh shit, I missed my move. So I got to cover myself because I missed it.
Right.
So if you had just jumped with the intention of just getting back to center, and we remember that rule for ourselves, we're in disadvantage, let me get back to center, I have not earned the right to hit them back yet. So that bear, you shouldn't have thrown out that bear, or not shouldn't have, I wouldn't throw out that bear. I would just simply try to get back to center stage. And then right here, the up smash, we threw it out because we thought we could punish them, but what move did they use? Let's see. They did a landing bear. And if we look, bear is unpunishable when perfectly timed. So because we tried to punish, it didn't end up hitting. And that's what ended up getting us hit with the up B. And then, yeah, we're in disadvantage. We tried to hit them back. So we charged Phantom. So we basically just kind of put ourselves, literally, this is just sort of saying, when you're in disadvantage, this is just kind of saying like, oh, hey, come hit me. Because I literally can't do anything right now. Like, even though you can throw the Phantom out, you are still stuck where you are, right? It's not like you can just double jump real quick. It's not like you're Samus, or Sephiroth, and you can like start your charge and they come at you and then you jump out of it. Zelda can't do that. If Zelda was able to do that, she would be unquestionably a top tier. So yeah, I hope that this helped today. I hope that you've got some notes written down. And, like I said, if you have any questions throughout the rest of the week, definitely make sure to, to hit me up and ask me. But after going over this video today, do you feel a little bit more better suited in like understanding what some of your habits are in disadvantage and what you should be opting to do? Just in general?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. All right, well, if you have any other follow-up questions or anything, make sure you message me. And I think that that'll do it. Do you have any last minute questions, comments, concerns? Okay, cool.
But yeah, I'll
Okay, fantastic. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, I'm always available as a resource for you as your coach. So, don't be, don't think twice if you want to ask me a question. The other thing is I will point out that I know the other night, I think last night you were asking me about like teleport cancels and stuff. We'll definitely get there. Like I will definitely help you with that in the future. It's just not something that we want to implement right now. Because we want to focus on like the fundamentals first, and then we can throw the tech in, right? I can tell you from personal experience, fundamentals will get you farther starting now, planting those seeds now, than trying to focus on tech, because that's what I did first, and I sort of had to learn fundamentals later. And it's, in my opinion, I feel like if it was flipped, then I might be in a different place myself right now when it comes to competitive Smash, but we're all where we're supposed to be for a reason, I think. So I will go ahead and bid you adieu, but go ahead and get your next session set up. If you want to do the same time next week, I assume same time next week on Thursday. Does that work for you?
I'll just, yeah, usually it's sent.
Okay, yeah. This time works for me too. I make sure to like, try to get that in as soon as you can. And the only reason is because when you get that booked, it puts it in my Google Calendar automatically, and it prevents other students from selecting that same time frame. So if we want to lock that time frame in, it's something that you want to usually try to get done after each session. So I will. Yeah.
My tournament's on.
Exactly. Mine is too. So yeah. Well, definitely. If you ever play on stream, definitely send me the stream link. You can send it to me on Discord, and that way I can watch. We can also always go over it again later. And I would even ask, hey, do you mind if I play one of my matches on stream? I'm trying to learn. And if they say no, they say no. But sometimes, the TO could be like, okay, yeah, sure. So last thing. Yeah, and that's fine. If you don't want to ask them yet, that's okay. The second thing I would say, or the last thing really, I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but you can always take your Switch with you. And then when you sit down to play somebody, you can just say, hey, do you mind if we put my Switch in the dock? And usually they won't say no. You can do that so that way after you play that match, whether you win or whether you lose, you can save the replay. And that'll be good for...
I wish I would have done.
Well, we can do that. We can do that now. So just make sure to write that down, take it with you. And, the worst, like I said, the worst they can say is no. Normally, like, we have a couple people at our local that do that, and nobody usually has a problem with it because, everybody's trying to get better. And I don't think that, like, if somebody tells you no, they're just an asshole. I'm just going to be honest. Like, they're just a dick. So,
yeah.
So anyway, best of luck to you. I hope that you have a great time tomorrow, and just be compassionate to yourself. Just do the best that you can for where you are right now in Smash, and don't have any other expectations other than just doing the best that you can in that particular moment.
Actually, it's every other year.
Oh, okay. Well, still, we can definitely, yeah, 100%. Go over these VODs and just try to, look at different fields of information and just try to assess risk versus reward. Okay, I got hit here. Why did I get hit here? Let me go back 5 seconds. Let me go back 5 seconds. Watching things over and over and over, sort of how we've done today. You can expect this video to be uploaded to YouTube, and I'll post the link for it tomorrow. Other than that, have a great rest of your evening, and it was a pleasure, Tico. I'm always glad to work with you, and thanks for being a student of the game, and I'll see you next Thursday at 2:30.
Thanks, Katy.
No problem. Bye. Okay, guys. Hopefully that went well for you. I hope you guys were able to learn something today. I've learned that I need hairspray. I think that's what I've learned. But no, like, it's seriously, like, it's always nice, I think, even for me, just to be able to watch other people's gameplay, because, like, it doesn't matter what skill level you are. I feel like I'm always learning new things myself. So hopefully you guys benefited from this. I'm going to be going to the gym, getting my run in, and just working on various things. So I'm thinking about streaming a little Wi-Fi tourney. There is a Wi-Fi tournament at 7:30 tonight, and it is a small one, but it is for this local that I used to go to at Purdue University. They only have it, of course, during the school year. And so right now they don't have it going on right now, but they're preparing for it. So they're doing like a Wi-Fi bracket. And I figured, you know what else am I doing on Thursday night? So, you know, maybe I enter it and I'll stream it and just see how it goes. So it'd be, you know, practice is practice, right? So thank you guys for being here. I'm going to end the stream now, but have a good rest of your evening, and thanks for being here. Bye.